Hey Star Wars fans, we're working on a Scout Trooper helmet today. And you're probably looking at this and thinking, hey, that's not a Scout Trooper, that's not what they look like. This is a Scout Trooper from the Clone Wars. So you've probably seen the one from Return of the Jedi that has the really big, almost looks like ski goggles on the front. But this is from like Revenge of the Sith or Battlefront. I think there's a couple of toys from it as well. But yeah, so this is a Scout Trooper who was on the planet Kashyyyk, and it's going to get a camouflage paint job, which I've never done before, so I'm pretty terrified to try it. But anyway, we'll give it a shot. I have I got the Rust-Oleum paint colors. And I've done a little bit of research. It says to start with a base coat of like a green, and then cut out some shapes, make stencils, and paint the other colors on. So that's what this video is. We're gonna try to do a camouflage paint job on this helmet. But anyway, the helmet itself is an STL file I got from GalacticArmory.com. Cool file, comes in two different variations. The one that has the even smaller eyes yet, like in the movie. I chose to use the one that was a little bit bigger. It's still not as big as like the Scout Troopers from Return of the Jedi, but I did like the larger cutout. I just thought it looked better. In fact, I even have a remnant piece of Hobart shield that I think will fit, and it's even in a green color, which is kind of cool. So hopefully you can still see the green once it's in there. I'm sure it'll end up just looking black, but yeah, so Galactic Armory file comes in a few different pieces. It's got a front, a back, a dome, and then the visor piece. It also has some greeblies on the front, which are printing right now. But yeah, I've already PLA welded this all together with the soldering iron. Might be really hard to see, but anyway, I've melted the seams together so that it's not just glued together, it's actually been like fused together. So anyway, you won't be able to open it, so I'm hoping it fits your head. It fits my head pretty good, so hopefully your head fits in it as well. But yeah, this is for Carter, this is for Blue Mamba. He's doing like a original character cosplay that's like a Jedi that survived Order 66 on Kashyyyk. But yeah, so I'm making it for him. I hope he loves it. It's super cool. But anyway, yeah, never done camouflage, so let's give this a shot. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, here we go.
So I did a little bit of research on how to paint camouflage. Two methods would be painting in layers, and you tape your stencil on, and then, you know, after you paint all your layers, you peel all the tape off. I decided to do a base coat of the army green and then cut out stencils and then try to spray paint the stencils. It worked out okay. The other method might have looked a little cleaner, but either way, it all turned out pretty good on this helmet. So I started with the camouflage underneath where the top part of the helmet goes. So I just painted those first, and then I figured, you know, it's probably going to be hard to get in there and cut out the visor out of that Hobart shield after I put the top piece on, so I decided to do that next. But I put a piece of cardstock in, I trace out the visor, trim it a little smaller, trace it again, trim it a little smaller, trace it again until it feels like it kind of fits perfectly in there. And then I use that as my template on the Hobart shield and just transfer that over and cut it out with a strong pair of scissors. But yeah, that worked out pretty good. So now I put the top part on, and the E6000 is drying here, and I decided to do the front piece, tape that all off while the E6000 is drying. Yeah, so I did that in that dark brown color, and then we did the rest of the camouflage, and this took me hours. I didn't like it at first, so I just kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going, and the more patterns I added to it, the more I liked it. This is definitely one of those not less is more kind of situations. Like I just kept doing more and more stencils, and it started to look better. And then I did the clear coat, and the clear coat kind of made the helmet look a little lighter, so I decided to do a hunter green, dark green acrylic wash on the helmet, and I think I actually did that twice to try to bring that color a little bit darker. And then I did some acrylic washes with black and brown as well. And I found the more acrylic washes that I did, the better it looked. So I just kind of kept going with it. And then after I did the acrylic washes, I grabbed some black and brown oil paint, mixed it with just a tiny bit of naphtha, and it gave me this real oily, grimy, muddy concoction that I just kind of put in all the crevices of the helmet to really let some grime build up in all the corners. And then I grabbed my airbrush and a caramel color, and I kind of just went around all the edges of the helmet, all the seams, to give it just a little bit of a highlight to all the edges of it, make it look a little more worn. And then I threw my oil paint in a spray bottle and just kind of gave it a shot of grime over the whole thing. I mean, this is a trooper on the planet Kashyyyk. You know, they're running through forests and mud and everything else, and they're gonna get pretty dirty. The next step here is I grab some silver rub and buff and a brush, and I just kind of hit all of the high points, edges, corners, ridges, just anything that, you know, if you think you're running through a forest and, you know, branches are hitting you, or you're, you know, dropping your helmet, things like that, just any place where paint might be scratched off. And then last step, I gave it some more oil paint, and this time I just sprayed straight naphtha onto the helmet so that the oil paints would kind of drip, and then I let those dry like it was just kind of leaking out of all the crevices and stuff, like maybe you'd been sitting in the rain. And here's our final product. What do y'all think? Our Kashyyyk clone Scout Trooper. I'm pretty happy with it. I have to admit, I was so scared to try to figure out how to paint camouflage. It's just, you know, something I've never done before, so I kind of put it off for a little bit, procrastinated, if you will, because I was too scared to attempt to paint it, but I'm pretty happy with the way that it turned out. I mean, it's a cosplay prop, you know what I mean? It's not like an exact replica, not that these ever existed in a movie, but I mean, in CGI anyway, but for a cosplay prop, I'm pretty satisfied with it, and I think the weathering really helped pull the camouflage together. And, you know, I don't know, like, if a clone was out in the field and decided to paint his helmet in the middle of a war and just wanted to hide himself in the forest and the trees and stuff, I think this is pretty close to what it might look like. So anyway, I'm super happy with it. The greeblies are now on in the front, which I have super weathered with mud and things like that. A little bit of rub and buff. You can see the rub and buff on all the other areas where I think that, you know, some paint might have scratched off the helmet. You can see the oil paints and the grime up in all the little crevices. The visor is green, I swear. It's so dark that it looks black, but oh well. It is a green visor. But yeah, I'm super happy with this cosplay helmet for Carter. I hope you like it. I hope it goes well with your cosplay. And yeah, that's all I got for today. So hey, if you happen to like this content, please click like. And yeah, please leave a comment. I love reading the comments on videos. I would really appreciate it if you left a comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click subscribe. It's free and it helps me out. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I think I'm coming up on like 600 or something like that. So yeah, please feel free to subscribe. That's all I got. Hey, may the force be with you all. I'll catch you in the next video.